Hi, this is Jeff Podlasek with Toad DB2 Development. In Toad for DB2 version 6.2, we've introduced a new dashboard feature. This dashboard feature can be used by DB2 LUW DBAs to get high-level, important information about their database and database objects in one control. I've got Toad up and running, and new in this 6.2 release, you can see that we have this dashboard menu item. And if you click on it and then on the drop down arrow, you can see that we have the ability to create a new dashboard, a summary dashboard, or manage any existing dashboards. You could also get to that dashboard feature from the tools menu as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a new dashboard for my existing connection by clicking this new dashboard. And this dashboard tab opens up. And inside the dashboard tab, you'll see a set of controls, and we call each one of these controls widgets. And each widget is specifically reporting on a feature of DB2 LUW. You can see, for example, the number of open connections you have, if you have any invalid objects, if there's a monitoring tab where you could, monitor your amount of applications, you can monitor your buffer pool hit rates, etc. So there's a set of default widgets that we display when you create your initial dashboard. And these widgets can be removed. You can add other widgets to this control as well. So if you wanted to remove a widget, you would just click the X button and remove the widget. If you wanted to add another widget to this display, you would just click this plus here on the Add Widget control, and you could select any additional widgets that you might want to have being shown on your dashboard. So I selected that new additional one. And some of these widgets, you can see they all have refresh buttons on them. So if you wanted to refresh the display, you would just click this little refresh button. And some widgets are tied together in that, we fetch background information and populate a couple widgets at once. So if you refresh one widget, others may be refreshed as well. So that's information about high-level important database information. On some of these widgets, you could drill down to obtain further information. So for example, on this invalid objects widget, we're showing the schemas. If you click on a schema here, you could actually see the object that is invalid for that schema, and then you could right-click and take corrective actions on that. Same with non-enforced constraints. We show you the schemas of non-enforced constraints. Then you could drill down to get to the constraints themselves and alter them to make them enforced if you so wish. Another thing to point out here is, there's like a quick notes thing. You could, keep your own notes in this section. So add anything you want there if you wanted to. And we also have the ability to roll your own queries and use those. So if I click on the Add Widgets button, and if I select the Simple Select widget and click Add, you can see that that new widget shows up, and it has a settings control. So if you click on the widget settings button, the settings control comes up, and we give you like 4 different views or 4 different manners that data can be displayed, either via a grid, a bar, a line, or a pie chart. And this first example here, I'm just going to show you what a grid chart could look like. So I'm going to just type in some canned SQL and click apply. And the SQL that I entered, in essence, counts up the amount of tables and displays those by schema. So you can see that my JPodLast schema has 111 tables. It's just an example report. You could roll your own. You could query, the IBM catalog. You could query your own application tables. It really doesn't matter. I mean, whatever is important to you, whatever you want shown on this dashboard. So I'm going to add another widget, and this time I'm going to choose the simple select. And this time I'm going to say I want it to be a bar chart. And I'm going to enter some data selecting from my sales table. Type it in here and click apply. And you can see that my sales by regions of my sample sales table shows the amount of sales per region. So very easy to customize your own widgets. Again, if you didn't want them, you could just X them to close them. And one thing to note is that each one of these widgets, that are pre-canned, can only be added once. So you can't have multiple open connections or multiple invalid objects. It doesn't make sense. So we'll only allow you to add widgets that are not shown on your display, or you could add multiple of the simple select widgets as well. And then if you go to close this, it's going to ask you if you want to save it. So I'm going to save it, and it basically saves it by default to the name of my connection profile. And so next time I come back, if I ever wanted to open up that dashboard, I could just go to my dashboards, see all my dashboards that I've saved there, and click open. And the dashboard will open with all the widgets in it that I had saved. So that is an example of creating a dashboard for DB2 LUW. And again, I'm going to connect to another DB2 LUW database. And I'm just going to create another dashboard for it. So you can see that by default, it takes my current connection and it says, create a new dashboard for my current connection. And so now I have two dashboards. I have one for my sample database and one for my other database as well. And I'm going to save this one too. So now I have two dashboards. And if I bring up the dashboard manager screen, you can see that I could very easily delete or open these dashboards that I have now saved. And we also have a concept of a summary dashboard. And a summary dashboard, in essence, gives you the ability to report high-level information for multiple LUW databases. And by default, it takes the current connection. But what you can do, I'm going to just show you, pin my connection manager and open up the settings for my dashboard and just show you that I could add additional connections just by dragging and dropping those from the connection manager into my dashboard settings for my summary dashboard. And I'm going to connect to another database and just drag that one over as well. So now I'm going to have three databases being shown in my summary dashboard. I'm going to click apply. So now when I go to my summary dashboard, you'll see that I have three databases, and it's giving me high-level information for all those databases. So my connections, my non-enforced constraints, space usage is being shown. And so in each one of those controls is going to have all the databases I've associated with the summary dashboard. High-level information for LUW DBAs to give them important information about the health of their database objects and databases in one easy location.